Hey guys, so I'm finally tackling the task of repairing my second Citation Longitude. This one is a little bit more in favorable conditions. The first one is still in the box over there. That one's in less favorable conditions. There's some carbon fiber rods broken in those, so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do to replace. And it's broken in a lot more places. So back to this one. There's videos of how I crashed the first one. The second one, almost the same way. So luckily there's no video of it. Bottom needs to be done. Fuselage is broken here. Fuselage is also broken here. Bottom, that area needs a lot of work. This area has some pieces, as you can see, that are missing. Don't worry. And then of course this gear and this gear got ripped off. All of the pieces are right here. All of the foam pieces are right there. So I'm going to clean this plane up right now. Once I clean her up of all the dirt, I'm going to start figuring out all the different puzzles. I figured out most of the tail pieces. Of course, obviously that's the lid, and then there's some of the missing pieces. The blue, obviously, that's some of the outside nose pieces. So we'll be right back and set this thing down. Okay, so now that she's cleaned up from all the dust, this is what I am left with before starting the gluing process. And the pieces are here. So I've already put together the cap, battery cap. This piece right here is for the back, and this is also for the back. These are all kind of for the middle, that section that's broken, and these two in the front. A little bit of scotch tape, clear scotch tape, and foam safe CA. Okay. With the UMXs, the reason I'm not using hot glue, which is my preferable, or epoxy, especially on fuselage brakes, is that stuff adds a substantial amount of weight. The UMXs themselves are already very ultra micros. They're very lightweight to begin with, so even if I put a thin layer of hot glue in specific areas, I might throw that CG off really badly. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use thin layer foam safe CA and some scotch tape and put it back together. So I'm going to set the camera down now, and I'm going to start gluing these things back together right now, and we'll hopefully be done in a short amount of time. What I'm doing is I'm applying a good healthy layer. It's not thick enough where it's going to go from all the way across, but it's enough where if I press it together, it should essentially smear out towards these sides without really overflowing. Just make sure that it's straight. Give it a little bit of time to dry. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of kicker. What I'm going to do is put a vacuum cleaner there. Or do it. Just enough vacuum out of it. So, I'll put it there. And take it straight, there's more here. Put it right there. Straight up. So I catch together. No cracks there. No catch it up. No hang up with. Like this. One thing I noticed here is this. These keep them up. And just like that. So this. Just take one right off. Let me see. Okay. Citation, not to reach. That's fine. Structural surface is important. String. Yep. Alright, so now that I'm enjoying the work out, so I can move. Just going to apply hard. Just do this side. I'm going to do this side. This side. Good visual of a lot of things here. I'm going to have here. I'm going to have on one side. See if I can see if Of course, I'm going this side. I have to focus on the inside here. Okay. Okay, so as you can see right now, this. So the nose is thin. So here it is. Everything's nose. These watches you can see. There's too much. Have to run this up here. So here's a little gap marker. But the time to use the whole thing, it's going to get a little stronger. And to just go with our phone tubes. And I'm going to go upstairs to get off momentarily. You can see this dry all out on this. Fix this here. Okay guys, so I did a few things off camera. First, as you see, the bottom is mostly one piece already. I actually removed this entire top piece. Took the stickers off. What this is right here, to kind of hide the crack, that is 3M paper tape, micro pore paper tape. Super lightweight paper, and it paints over easy without adding any weight, so you can't even tell that there was a crack there. That one you could see it a little bit more because I haven't pressed it down a little bit better, but once you toss a layer of paint over it, it'll be fine. And the cap, you can see it fits quite nicely. Okay. And then over to the airplane. Whoops, before I get to the airplane, the battery tray that was out. What I did is I cut a couple of small strips right here, one on each side, of Gorilla clear packaging tape. I chose that just because it's a little bit more hard. It works really well for the ultra micros. And that's the battery bay, which will go on to the bottom of that. Here I already glued together the bottom. There's two pieces. I just glued them together, put them over there. I have to glue the other side together now. I'm just going to set the camera down for a quick sec. I also glued one of the wheels back on, one of the landing gears. Let me just turn the camera around and you'll see. Okay. So one of the last remaining things to glue is just the upper ends right there. Okay. And then that will pretty much finish the fuselage. But it's actually really cool to be able to see the interior of this particular plane once it's opened up. All the electronics are here. That's the AS3X. The little smart board that's there, the little micro. So one thing I did decide to do, and I haven't done it just yet, which I'll do in a minute, is you'll tell right there, that is cracked. So that controls my nose landing gear. I am going to add a thin layer of hot glue for this piece, and the reason I'm going to do that is it is going to add a little bit of center weight there. So it's right in the middle. It won't throw my CG off too badly. It just means I may have to slide the battery back a little bit more instead of so far front. Also kind of fixed the dent on the front here. It was ripped, so I put some tape on the bottom there and glued the top. So when it's closed, when I close it together, it will look like that again. And I'll probably give it a slightly different scheme. Color's probably the same, but the paint wise I'm probably going to give it a little bit slightly different scheme. Alright, so sorry I didn't want to put that all on the gluing portion on camera because that would just make this video way too long. But once I do some of the additional gluing there and complete that, I will add another video just to give an update and combine all these together. So there's a couple of pieces that I have right here, and they go on the inside. Right in this one right here and one right there. So I'm gonna glue those back momentarily as soon as some of the other glue dries. It's almost done. But the UMX Ultra Micro Citation Longitude hopefully will be ready by the weekend and to fly again. Also have a little bit of foam putty work waiting to dry on the F-15. This is from that original crash in the about a month and a half ago. So I'm just doing a little bit of foam putty for foam that ripped. And then recently, unfortunately, a small chunk was ripped off right there. Wind basically flipped her over and just ripped it, and I guess a small chunk was there and it got blown away by the wind. So I'm patching it up with foam putty right now, 24 hours for it to cure, and then I'll be able to kind of file it down to the profile that I want. This F-15 is going to get a complete new paint scheme soon. I'm still going to go with an aggressor paint scheme, but just a completely different color. I definitely want to get rid of some of this ugliness from the paint cracking from the first crash, so that's going to be sanded smooth and a different color. This one is a nice color, but when the conditions in the sky is good, I wouldn't say good, but when it matches the white clouds, the blue sky, and a little bit of haziness, this plane just gets lost. And the paint scheme is designed to do that, and something this small, yeah, hard to keep track of when it's that small and then lose it in the sky. But I'm gonna have the remaining of the work done of this one done soon. So this is not done yet. I'm just kind of piecing it together. The tail has been glued on, so the only things left is still to add a little bit of the hot glue inside for the nose gear to glue down. I haven't done that yet, and that's pretty much it. That needs to be glued down in the middle right there as well. So that's it. Everything else is really just paint and cosmetics, really. So almost done, guys. Look at that. She's almost ready to fly. And you saw how many pieces she was in earlier, how badly broken she was earlier.